Good evening, guys. Good evening, Celia. Good evening, Patricia. Thank you. I hope we're doing well. And welcome. Good evening, Mohammed. So welcome to our webinar for tax. My name is Radhika Ghelani, as you must have already seen in the WhatsApp groups. Good evening, Rachel. So I'm going to be taking you through this session and through the tax course at MAT Abacus. So the aim, actually, we were supposed to have this webinar yesterday, if you must have been in the groups and seen the messages going around, but because of the internet situation there, we've had to push the webinar to today, and we were supposed to have our first tax class today, but because it's better for you to have an understanding of what to expect in the course and what the paper is all about. So we had to push the webinar to today. So the classes will commence on Wednesday. Yes, Wednesday for tax. Okay. Good evening, Innocent. Good evening, Tony. I hope you're all well. So welcome to the session. And like I said, the aim is to give you an insight into what this paper is about and what to expect from the course. So in case we're a mixed group, so for some of us, this may be the first paper that we're taking, which is not in the knowledge level. So if in case you've done your BT law, not law, BT, MA, FA, and even law, the structure of the paper that you see, those papers were mostly multiple choice, not mostly, entirely multiple choice. If this is the first time you are doing a skills level paper, which is not law, then you're going to see a different format. You're going to see section C, which you would not have seen in your earlier papers. That's only if you've not done any other skills level paper aside of law before. So there is going to be a change in the paper format, which I'm going to take you through. And I'm going to take you through what the syllabus is about and a few things to keep in mind. So I'm going to share my screen so that, just give me a second. Yes. You should soon be able to see something on my screen. Yep, I hope you guys can see my screen, right? You can?
Yes, we can.
Yes, thank you. Okay, so, oops, my chat box is not minimizing now. Okay, well, I've shared the wrong screen. The first thing I wanted to share with you, you're going to see another screen now, is something else. Yeah, not really what the Zoom logo is about, but this page. So this, as you can see, is the pass rates for ACCA. And let's have a look at them. So you know that ACCA is we break down the syllabus into knowledge level, skills level, and professional level, right? So knowledge level is the first level of ACCA where we have our BT, MA, FA. In the skills level, we have papers from law to FM, as you can see, and then we have the professional level ahead. So scrolling, look at my screen. Don't focus on BT, MA, FA, and law because those are on-demand papers, meaning you choose when you want to do the exam. So you can read for it for 2 years, whatnot, whatever, and you choose your own date and you give your exam. I want you to focus from tax through to FM. Look at all the sessions, December 25 going downwards, and tell me what you observe about something you can tell me about tax. These have been the pass rates from December 2025, which is the latest. We got the results recently, going downwards. Who has any observation they can share from this?
I think I can share.
Please tell me.
I see compared to PM, FR, AA, FM, tax is a bit more passable.
Tax is a bit more passable. Thank you so much. That's exactly the observation I was looking for. Tax has the highest pass rates. And not just in 1 year, as you can see, if I scroll further, in a lot of years, tax has consistently had the highest pass rate amongst all papers in the skills level. And what does that say? Yes, Tony, it has the highest pass marks. So it's not a paper to be scared of, okay? There's a reason why people are passing it, because it is one of the easiest papers that you can actually pass in ACCA. Although when students begin the syllabus, they get a bit overwhelmed, but then if you study the right way, and if you do, I mean, I'm going to do my part, okay, as a tutor, but then it's not just on me. However well I teach you, you must do your part as well. And if you do your part right, there is no reason for you not just to pass tax, but to excel in the subject. And anyways, any paper of mine, I teach both tax and FR. And if you are planning to take FR, that's the same thing I'm going to tell you. The good news is FR has the second highest pass rates. So both my papers are very easy to pass compared to the rest. That doesn't mean I'm scaring you about the rest. The rest are also easy, provided you do your part well. But yes, so if you do your part well, if you follow the guidance in the right way, if you revise in the right way, you're going to excel. And one thing I tell all my students is that please don't come to my class to pass. That's really not what I'm aiming for. Okay, if as students, what is your personal goal? What do you want? What's the mark that you want to achieve in a paper? If you can share your views with me. How much do you want to score in tax? Okay. I don't know if I'm going to pronounce your name the right way, but correct me if I'm wrong. Abesiga, 60. Wow, we have precise marks that people want to score. Someone saying a 60, Innocent says 70. Wow, Patricia, 69 precisely. Okay. 70. Ruben, 70. Okay. Daisy, 70. Okay. Rachel, 75. Wow. I've never seen students with this much clarity in my life. Dell says, okay, Dell, I believe that's not your name. I don't know if you've not changed your laptop name, but in case it may be your name. So no pass mark set, but I'd like to understand and be able to apply. Okay, Dell. Tony, you want to achieve at least 80% since it's very applicable to your economy, to my economy. Good. I'm getting very focused answers. People are clear of what they want from this paper. Any other inputs? Anyone else wants to tell me what they want to get? Okay, now, to everyone here who has given me a mark, starting with Abesiga. So you've told me 60, Innocent, you've told me 70, 69, 70. All of us, without seeing the paper, have told the examiner, have told me that it's okay. Even if you are setting a paper worth 100 marks, I'm not interested. I'm not interested in 40 marks, those of you who told me 60. I'm not interested in 25 marks, those of you who said 25. So even without looking at a paper, are we willing to go in with the attitude that, you know what, keep your 25 marks with you, keep your 40 marks with you? I'm not interested in that. Is that the attitude we're going to have? 79, Charles. So Charles says, keep your 21 marks with you. I don't want them. Examiner, you can set me a paper for only 79 marks. Is that okay, Charles? So none of us here is having a target to get 100%. Well done, Hasana. That is the target I want you to have in your mind. Okay? Yeah, someone's laughing. Abesiga, don't laugh, don't laugh. That is the target I want you to have, 100%. Because how are you telling me that even without looking at the paper that the examiner has set for you, you are saying you don't want some of the marks? Aim for the highest, okay? I don't want anyone in my class, whether tax or if you're going to meet me in FR, I'm going to tell you the same thing. I don't want anyone telling me that, Miss, I'm just here to pass. Luckily, no one told me a 50, okay? So that's definitely out of our target. We are not just here to pass. We are here to excel. So you step into my class with that thing clear in your mind that we are here to excel. And once we set our target right, we are going to make sure that we work to achieve that target. If you're going to keep your target low, that means you're not going to put in the efforts to reach a good score. So from day one in class, we're having it clear that we are there to try our best to get that 100%, okay? Ruben says 95 is okay, huh? Ruben, no, even the 5 we're not going to leave. What if what if the next 5 marks are easy? So why not 100? Let's all aim for the highest. And as you've seen, tax has one of the highest pass rates. That's the best news because it's a very passable paper. So let's look at what the syllabus is all about. I'm going to share a new screen. Back to, not really a new one, the old one that we were on. Okay, I hope you can see the PowerPoint presentation. So what's our exam format like? Those of you who have done any other skills level paper aside of law, you are already familiar with this exam format. You're now going to have 3 sections, unlike the first earlier papers of BT, MA, whatnot. You're going to have section A and section B, which are generally objective test questions. Section A is going to have 15 questions with 2 marks each. So your section A is 30 marks. Section B is going to have 3 questions, but each question is going to have a scenario, a small case study, okay? And from that case study, you're going to have 5 short questions, which they call OTQs, worth 2 marks each. So in total, each section B question, they're going to have 5 OTQs worth 2 marks. So each question is worth 10 marks, and you have 3 questions like that, 3 cases. So that's going to be your 30 marks. And then section C is going to be 3 questions. 1 question is going to be on any part of the syllabus. I'll discuss the syllabus in a bit. And that's going to be worth 10 marks. 1 question is going to focus on one topic, which is called income tax. And the next question is going to be on something we call corporation tax. So 15 marks on those, okay? So that's your exam format. Section C, expect longer questions where you're going to be either calculating certain tax computations, or you're going to be writing out to the examiner what tax planning tools are better as we focus on the syllabus. I mean, I can't tell you all the details now because you don't know the syllabus, but either it will be you typing out a response or you calculating something. This is particularly for those who are new to such a format of papers. So in section C, you're going to have either an Excel workbook, Excel kind of sheet opening if it's a calculation question, or you'll have a Word kind of document if it's a theoretical focused question. Okay, and we'll see that. We'll look at all the ways on how to attempt exam style questions and so on as we progress. If you've done such a paper before, this is not new to you. So before we go to the tips, what is our syllabus like? So we have section A to G in the syllabus. Section G, employability and technology skills, is a common thing in all ACCA papers. Basically, they're testing that's why the papers are on computer, unlike in the past where they were written. So they're testing your IT skills and stuff. But the main focus is part A to F. The first part of our syllabus is about, okay, before I even reach that, tax is taught in many different variants. If you observe the ACCA tax paper. So we are going to focus on UK tax, okay? Every country has different rules for tax. They have different tax rates and stuff. So we are going to focus on the UK tax system. And when you're entering for the exam, be very careful when you're filling in the forms for the tax exam. Make sure you select the UK variant. If you're studying with me, this variant, okay? Do not make a mistake in that. You may reach there with an entirely different paper and you'll see stars because different countries have different rates. So make sure you enter for the UK tax paper. Some students in my last sitting asked me, Miss, do we not learn Ugandan tax? No, we're going to do the UK tax system, okay? And so the first part of our syllabus is basically about what the UK tax system is about, how it runs, and how is tax administered there. What are the different types of taxes and all that. Then the second part of our syllabus focuses on tax paid by individuals, which we call income tax. And there's something called NIC, National Insurance Contributions. So you saw in the paper structure that section C, one of the compulsory questions will come from part B of your syllabus. You will be required to do an income tax computation in one of the section C questions. The next part of your syllabus is about chargeable gains. Chargeable gains is basically when people sell off assets like land and buildings or anything, any asset that they have. How are they taxed? Okay, so that's called chargeable gains. Then we're going to learn about inheritance tax. When someone passes on their wealth to another person, what are the tax implications? I don't know if you guys are reading the news these days. A lot of wealthy people are wanting to leave the UK. Has anyone read that news? A lot of wealthy people are planning to leave UK. It's quite a bit in the news. Anyone aware of that? And the reason is part of our syllabus. No idea? No one saw that news? Okay, quite a lot of wealthy investors are leaving the UK because, okay, I have something in the chat box. Patricia, no idea or yes idea? Because of tax, yes. Which tax in particular? Joel, local news consumer, local news consumers, huh? Okay, fine. So, Joel, you must be updated on all the election updates. Mohammed, yes, inheritance tax. Is it because I stopped at that? Were you using strategy or you read the news? Yes, Patricia, either inheritance or, although it's inheritance, I just said it. But yes, they're leaving because of inheritance tax. So the rich people obviously are very rich because they are rich people, and they would want to pass on their wealth to maybe their, daughter, son, or whoever they want to in their family. But then in the UK, inheritance tax is at a very high rate, as we're going to see. But just in case you're curious, it's at 40%. So whatever your wealth is that you pass on, the person receiving your wealth, or maybe you or the trustees, have to pay tax at a rate of 40%, which is quite high, and people are not happy with it. So a lot of them are trying to shift their assets and move out of the country into other tax-friendly zones. So yeah, that's also going to be a focus of our syllabus. And then we are going to do corporation tax. So just like we look in part B, we look at how individuals in the UK are taxed. Part E will focus on how companies in the UK are taxed. So that's corporation tax liabilities. And then lastly, part F is about VAT, which we all know we are all paying VAT, and even in Uganda, we do pay. So we've been part of the system, and it's just that we don't know the nitty-gritties, or we know, some of us know, we are already a bit or very well versed with tax. So that's what our last part of the syllabus is going to be about, value-added tax. Part G is just about, like I told you, skills that you learn how to answer on the computer and whatnot. So there's nothing really that theoretical that you're going to learn about part G. It is part of every ACCA paper. Part A to F is the focus of our syllabus. Very interesting syllabus. Tax is not a hard paper, is what I can tell you, but tax is a lengthy paper. There are a lot of things. As you can see, all these things are going to have their own tax rules. I mean, it's about what the taxman in the UK has said about a particular area. For income tax, how much should someone pay? When should they pay it? On what date should the tax be paid? All those things. So it's all about small rules. They're not hard, but there are many. And the only way you can become good at these rules is through repetition. Okay, you're going to do, the more numbers you do, the more you practice, the better you will get. Tax is all about consistency and repetition. There is not a lot of difficult things or a lot of application. Application, yes, in the sense that you need to know the rule and just work out someone's tax or something, but it's not complex like other papers. It's just long. That is why students get overwhelmed if they don't plan well. But if you plan well from the start, like I always tell my students at the start of class, that You all know your schedules individually. Some of you are working, you have a family, some people maybe having kids, and some of you are full-time students. So every individual is different. I cannot tell you one solid plan that will be applicable to each of you. But from day one, if you guys determine, decide for yourself that these are the number of hours I have based on my schedule, and devote a fixed time to studying, you will not find it difficult in the end. So what many of my students over my years as a tutor, they've told me that, oh, miss, I thought that I will read in the last 3 weeks when I get leave from my office, or, I had gone on a holiday and I was just focusing on other things. So I started reading late, and then they say, oh, but I felt sick in the last moment, so I couldn't read and all that. I strongly discourage last minute reading. Okay, you may think you're good at it, you may think you have the time for it, but then last minute is always unpredictable. Before being a tutor, I've been a student. And trust me, the best thing you can do is to start studying early. So I would set myself a schedule. And when you start early, you don't have to read a lot. Even half an hour a day is enough compared to, 8 hours or 10 hours that you would have to put in if you started reading 3 weeks before the paper. So please, all of you have your own individual schedules. Plan your time out in a way that you start reading early. In class, I will give you my own notes. You will get the textbook. You will get e-copies of the textbook once you pay for the course. But aside of that, I'm going to be giving you my own notes. And if you're comfortable with my notes, you don't really need to read the textbook, is what I can tell you, because my notes are quite comprehensive and I have a lot of examples that I'm going to be sharing with you. So what I would encourage you is that after we study something in class, I want you to go back and do all the examples that we did in class, because like I told you, tax is about consistency. It's about repetition. Okay. The more you practice, the better you're going to get. So that's about the syllabus and the paper structure. Now, there's another thing that I want you to do. Once we start the syllabus, or once we start our classes, I'm going to upload something that is called tax tables. Tax tables is something you're going to get in your exams, and the examiners are very kind. They've come up with a document that has tax rates for different areas of the syllabus that we've seen. Okay, so if I can show you briefly what a tax table looks like. Just give me a second. I'll share that file on the screen. Okay, so I hope you're able to see a new screen called tax tables. This is the old one. This is the one for last year. This is not the one we're going to be using, but the one we're going to be using is going to look exactly like this, just with different figures. Could I please go back to the slide that has how to prepare? Yes, hold on. I'll go back to it for you, okay? Let me finish on this one and then I'll take you back there. Okay, so you're going to get this very document in your exams, and I'll show you where to find it. But then before, the exam is very far off for now. In class, I'm going to put this in so if you're new to MAT, there's something that we call a learning management system that MAT has, LMS. Every student has their account on it, and all the notes and whatever your tutors upload, whatever resources we give you, we put it on that LMS under the different papers. So I will be uploading this under tax, and I strongly recommend that all of you come with a printed version of the tax tables every time we attend class. And the reason for this is because all you can see, this is something called like the part of income tax, okay, part B of our syllabus. As you can see, they've given you percentages here. We're going to use this in calculations in class. And this is something that if you know that this is what you're going to find in the tax tables, you don't need to memorize this. That's why I want you to have tax tables in class, because I'm going to be telling you that this item you can find in the tax tables in the exam, so you don't need to memorize it. And I will tell you that this you will not find in the tax table, so you need to memorize it, okay? So that is why it's best to come with tax tables right from day one. Charles, no, this is not applicable. This one I'm showing on my screen, yes, but then we are going to be preparing for the June 2025 exam. So I am teaching you for June 2025, not March 2025, okay? And March 2025 is using what we call the Finance Act of 2024. So tax syllabus of the UK, the one we study, is based on Finance Acts. Last year, in last year's December, in the December exam and June exam, last year, they were using the Finance Act of 2024, and it will run till March this year. So if you intend to sit for the tax paper in March, you're going to be using Finance Act 24. But like I said, I'm not teaching for March, I'm teaching for June. And in June, yes, Hola 2020, I mean right now, 2026, this year, we are going to use Finance Act of 2025. So in case any one of you has done the tax exam before and is perhaps having to redo it, if you're aiming for the March session, please make sure that you use the right tax tables. And in class, like I said, I'm going to prepare you for June, not for March. Okay, so I'm going to share the new Finance Act when we start class. I will upload it, but it has a lot of pages. Every topic, like you see, every topic, they've put something there for you. And as we progress through the topics, I will tell you that this is what you need to use from the tax tables. So this is a very important document, because how are you going to use it? Like I told you, you will know from this what you should memorize and what you should not memorize, because the information is already provided. And also, if you've used this in class and you get a question in the exam, you know exactly where to look out for the information from the tax table, okay? So a very important document. Now coming back to our PPT, sharing that again, Hola asked me to go on how to prepare, right? Is this the slide you want, Hola? Yeah, this one, I guess. Yes, okay. Okay, I'll go through this also with you. So how are we going to prepare for tax? And this applies to all the papers, okay? Like I already told you, each one of you knows your individual schedule better. So based on that, devise a routine for yourself. Start your preparations early. That's the best tip I can give you, both as a student and as a teacher. There is nothing better than starting your preparation early, because you'll be ready on time, even before time, and you will not have to read a lot. If you start early, like I told you, even half an hour a day, 45 minutes a day is enough. Sometimes if the day is hard, 15 minutes a day, or you can skip a day and then, cover it up later during the week, unlike if you're reading in the last minute. So if you are a full-time student, you have a lot of time. So use your time wisely. You will be doing other subjects as well. You may be doing, or you may not. So plan properly. And when you're a full-time student, often you think you have a lot of time, and so you dilly-dally around and don't focus. That's actually quite harmful, because I see a lot of students, they come around, they intend to study, but somehow they end up in the canteen talking to friends the whole day, because they think they have a lot of time. So if you don't use your time wisely, you may mess up, is all I can say, okay? And if you're having a full-time job, I know that's more stressful, working while having a full-time job. So that's why the best thing to do is start early, make your own plan. And when we finish a topic in class, I know classes end late, they end at 9, and then you have to go back home. So I will not tell you that go that very day and read what we learned in class, but at least have a target that by the end of the week, I will go through all that we have done in class. So what does that do? That it's like it helps the concepts stick, because you've learned it and then you've practiced it in a short duration. So that really helps you to stick the concept in your mind. And in case there is anything that you struggle with after practicing yourself, you can always immediately ask me in class, okay? Past papers, obviously, this is at a later stage after we finish the syllabus. You must do a lot of past papers. You will get them in the revision kit in case you enroll for revision or you have a kit. So tax is all about practice aside of what we do in class. And I always tell my students, not just for tax, any ACCA paper, never ever go to the exam without finishing the entire revision kit. And if possible, do 2 revision kits. You know, there are different publishers. There is BPP, which we use as MAT. In MAT, we use the BPP revision kit. And in case there's the second publisher is called Kaplan. So in case you can access a Kaplan kit, that's also additional revision. Okay, I know the Study Hub also has a lot of questions. The more you practice, the better. But for the exam, I would strongly recommend that you do both the revision kits. One is good, one is very good, you will pass. But if you do 2, there is nothing that can stop you from getting that 100 or very close to that 100, okay? Then group study. I know a lot of students do group study, which is a good technique. But one thing I've observed about group study is that some people think that if they just go and sit in a discussion group, that's the end of their revision. They never go and individually then try to remember or recall the concept. In group study, there's usually one person who knows a topic very well, and then they teach the others, and the others, they do understand, just like a teacher would be teaching students. But then if you don't go back and do that yourself, you are not going to be able to grasp that concept fully. So don't let group study be your main study technique. It can be part of your study technique, okay? And of course, point 5 is about the same thing. You know, close to exams is not a good time to start learning. Always start early. There's also a lot of help that ACCA provides for each subject. So for each subject, you'll see something called technical articles and examiner reports. What are technical articles? There are certain topics, a lot of topics that the examiner has written things about. So his point of view, he's explained it. So in case after attending class, you think that you still want to go and have a better understanding, you can go and read the technical articles on the particular topics. Examiner reports, after every exam session, the examiner releases a report on, he selects questions from the recent exam session that he feels that students struggled with. He explains their answers, and he explains how the students thought which was wrong, how to think in the wrong way and what's the right way to think. So it's a very useful tool because he picks out the questions that the majority of students failed. So as a student, you may also be having the same line of thought, but once you read this report, you will know that, oh, this is not the right way. The right way is what the examiner has shown. So it's a very important tool, but that one it's better to use it after you're done with the syllabus towards the revision phase. And then, of course, when we reach the exam, I will give you more exam techniques, but other points focus on the exam part of it. We're still on day 1, in fact, day 0, because this is still the webinar. So I will give you tips as we progress along, okay? Oh, it was, yeah, Hola, you're done? You're okay? I can move on from these slides. Is the tax table given in the exam? Yes, Raymond, it is. I'm going to show you where you can find it. Right, in just a few slides, I will show you where you can find the tax table in the exam. But for class, I will upload the tax table for you on the LMS, okay? So these are links. I will share this PPT again. These are links on where you can access the technical articles. But if you're familiar with the ACCA website, you will have already seen that. Like I told you, we are preparing for the June session. So we're going to use the Finance Act of 2025. And yeah, that's a link of where you can find all the examiner reports, technical articles, and other resources related to the tax paper. Now, this is how your exam, this is just a part of an exam, okay? It's not very clear, but this is a section C question. But focus on the red box. In your exam, where you see the red box, I don't know why my image is very hazy, but that's where on the extreme left-hand down corner is where you will see the tax tables in your exam, okay? So you click that and you'll have the screen that I showed you on the tax tables. And then as we progress towards after we're done, when we're reaching the revision phase, I will get you familiar on the exam layout in case you've not done such a paper before, maybe you've not done PM or any other skills paper before. So we will look at that as we progress. It's still too early for that. But yeah. The last thing I have to tell you is that, as you can see what I've put here, people who pass tax are not really the smartest. That doesn't mean that I'm saying you're not smart. But then the key thing is consistency, okay? And consistency is something that each and every one of you can control. Just be consistent with your practice. So if you practice like it's the exam, whenever you're practicing like thinking that I'm practicing like this is the exam, then when you reach the exam, it will look like a normal day for you. It will feel like you're practicing, okay? Is there anyone who just completed their F6? Okay, Ruben, that's not for me to answer, but in case anyone can reach out to Ruben on that. So tax is predictable once you practice, and confidence is going to come from repetition, okay? Not being hopeful that a difficult topic does not come. You know, many times students say, Miss, I really hope this topic doesn't come in the exam. And that is the worst thing to do, because if you know what you're already going to mess up at, that should be what you focus on before going to the paper, okay? So don't rely on hope, rely on preparation, and preparation in the right way. It is not a difficult paper. It is, in fact, a very interesting paper. You may have already seen that from the syllabus that I took you through. It's exciting. It's fun. But you just need to make sure that you stay on point by revising repeatedly. Okay? So that's all I have to tell you for now, because we're still at the start. I'll tell you a lot more as we progress. But in case there's any questions that you have for me at this point, do let me know. So the floor is open for questions now. Tell me in case you have any queries related to tax. Also, generally, we do have physical classes as well as online, but because of I'm sure you know the election situation. So phase 1, which is just a few days, I'm going to be doing online classes, and then I'm going to be there physically. So those of you who want to attend physical classes, I will be there shortly. And in case you're comfortable being online, of course, that option is there for you. Is there a significant syllabus change from March 26 to June 26? Not very significant, but quite a number of rates are going to change, Amog. There are, in many topics, there are rates that are changing from March 26 to June 26. That always happens. Whenever the Finance Act changes, the kind of reliefs in tax, you get what we call reliefs that reduce your tax. The percentage of tax the taxman charges you changes when the Finance Act changes. Not for all topics, but quite a bit of topics. You're welcome, Amog. Any other questions? How many classes will be online? Patricia, I can tell you briefly. I mean, I don't have the exact number off my mind, but then we start class when? Wednesday. I don't know. That's Jan what? I don't know. But till around 3rd Feb. So I do teach both tax and FR. So I know that every other day I have tax and FR, and till around 3rd February, I'm going to be online. But then the next phase, I'm going to come, I'll be there physically for class, okay? Do the online and physical classes run simultaneously? Yes, Mohammed. So what happens is that once I'm there, whoever wants to come to class physically can be there, but then I will also run, in that very class, I will run a Zoom meeting, a live Zoom meeting, okay? So I will have whoever is joining me online will be there on the Zoom, and then the rest who are there physically in class. Patricia, you're welcome. I hope to see you when I come in class. Eldad, what is the percentage of calculations in tax? Eldad, that depends, okay? There is no one percentage that fits everything. depending on the topic, if we're talking about income tax, and not just the topic, even depending on the different levels of income, a person has, they're taxed differently. So there's no one percentage that works across everything. Rona, what time does the class start usually? So on weekdays, classes run from 6:15 to around 9:15 p.m. in the evening, okay? And on weekends, we could have, in case you have a morning class, the morning classes are from 9:30 a.m. to 12:30. And in case we have an afternoon class, that would be from 2 to around 4:45, 5 o'clock. Yeah. So, and in case if it's a public holiday, we could have a class during the day, but otherwise, because a lot of our students are working on weekdays, unless it's a public holiday, we don't have daytime classes. Hasana, you don't need to print out the Finance Act. No. Okay, you're just going to print out the tax tables. The rest I will, whatever is part of your syllabus from the Finance Act will be there in my notes. So it's just the tax tables. Are topics interconnected or mutually exclusive from each other? Are there topics that must come in section A, B, like how corporation tax? So section A and B expect topics from any part of the syllabus, okay? But section C, they particularly said that one question is income tax, one question is corporation tax, and the third question is usually from any part of the syllabus, but more of a planning, tax planning rather than tax computation. And I'll teach you those as we progress ahead. I'll tell you what I mean by tax planning. There are, many of them are mutually exclusive and some of them are interconnected. It's not like all of them are mutually exclusive. Rona, they are not, the physical classes are not starting on 3rd Feb. After we finish classes around 3rd Feb, but the next time we resume class would be around end of Feb. So I think I'll be there on 27th Feb if I'm not wrong, but I don't know, 27th maybe FR, then tax maybe 28th, one of the two, but around 27th Feb, I'll be there physically. Can I kindly repeat the simultaneous question? The simultaneous question, what was the simultaneous question? Do the online and physical classes run simultaneously? Okay, so Mohammed, yes, they do run simultaneously. So what happens when I'm there is that physically, whoever is in class, I'll be in class teaching them. But at the same time, in that very class, I will start a Zoom meeting like we are on right now. And whoever is online, we're going to attend it together, physical plus online together. Okay, so yes, simultaneously. When will you be able to, where will you be able to get the notes from, Ashraf? You will get them from your account on the MAT LMS. So every student, every MAT student gets a student account, and then they will assign to you the subjects that you enroll for. So tax and any other paper that you enroll for. And I upload the notes on the LMS, and you'll be able to download them from there. Rona, classes are not really running till 27th Feb. Classes are running from now to 3rd Feb, and then we are having a break from 3rd Feb, and then resuming on 27th Feb until end of March. And then somewhere in April, we will be having revision phase. Okay, so we expect to finish our syllabus by the end of March, and then April again will be strictly revision. Mohammed, you're welcome. You're welcome, Rona. What could be the best paper to do alongside tax, in my opinion? So I would suggest, see, tax is an independent paper. So sometimes people try to look for a combination. So if you've not done law, there are students who say that learning law alongside tax helps. I personally, as a student, felt that tax was a standalone paper, so combining it with any other paper didn't really matter. But then an easy paper to do would be FR. Although some people would suggest that FR is best done with audit, because there's somewhat of a connection. FR is about international accounting standards, and auditing requires you to know the accounting standards. But the thing is that audit is quite a lot of reading itself. And tax is also quite a long syllabus, but FR is also an easy syllabus. So if you want, you can combine FR and tax, although they're not related in anywhere, okay? Or if you want, you can combine law and tax. PM is another paper, but many times students I don't want to discourage anyone, because personally as a student, I would not like hearing others' opinions when they told me that a paper is hard, because it's clearly about how you prepare for it. But then sometimes students find PM a bit challenging and time consuming for preparation. So I would not really say that combine PM and tax, but it's not like it's not doable. I know people who have done PM, FR, tax, and even another paper, 4 papers. FM and tax also is okay, Ashraf. There's no connection, like I said, but then even FM is not, it's more of calculations. You can do that combination. That's okay as well. Yeah. You're welcome, Raymond. So combining FR and tax is great for now. Yeah, I can say that's fine. I know of a lot of students who've done that and worked, unless you really want to do FR with audit, because like I said, audit requires standard knowledge, standards as in accounting standards, and FR is about accounting standards. But it's not like you can't remember them, or it's not like you'll not see them in audit. But audit and PM, I would say maybe don't. From purely a perspective of what I've heard from students, they find PM and audit time consuming, and tax is also long. So AFM and tax, whoa. Okay, AFM is the professional level paper. That's fine. Nothing is not doable, Abacus, but professional level papers, you also know that the application part is quite a bit. So make sure you plan your time well on that, okay? How about audit and tax? Rona, it's okay. It doesn't matter. It's just that audit requires a lot of reading as well. So make sure you're able to devote time. The best answer to this combination kind of things and how many papers to take together, I would say that it really depends on how much effort you want to put in. You have to do all the papers, okay? Tax is a long syllabus, is what I can tell you. Audit is a lot of theory. So if you think, and in theory requires you to do a bit of memorizing, not cramming, okay, memorizing, understanding. And tax also requires you to memorize a bit. So if that's too much for you, if you're a calculations person, then don't go for audit. But otherwise, there's generally no theory I can tell you of what 2 papers would work best with tax, okay? Parth, is it okay if a person does 2 other papers with tax? It's absolutely okay. I know of people who have done it. But just like I already said, make sure you plan your time well, because 3 papers is quite a lot of work. It's not that you can't do it, but please make sure that you plan your time wisely, okay? So in a rush to finish, don't overburden yourself and not do well. One thing, like I already told you at the start, that I want each and every one of us here to aim to not just finish and not just get the 50. I want each and every one of us here to aim to excel, because I know a lot of students who say that, no, I want to finish my ACCA in 2 years or 1.5 years. But do you know that personally, as a student, I'm going to tell you this, that if you do very well in your exams, jobs you don't go looking for jobs. Jobs come looking for you. You know that ACCA rewards students who get the highest mark in the country. So you get a recognition, you get a certificate from ACCA. MAT Abacus also recognizes your efforts. And that is a very strong selling point. Let me tell you, you will not go looking for jobs. Jobs will come looking for you. And in an environment where we are in a world of competition, this is a very, very big plus point that you're going to have. Okay, so try and do your best. And you've seen the pass rates for tax. This is one of the papers where you can do that for yourself. And for any other paper, not just because I teach tax and I'm encouraging you to do well in tax, aim to do your best in every paper. And if you get that award, trust me, you're going to you're not going to have a hard time looking for good jobs. You may already be working somewhere. You can go and negotiate a better deal also with your employer. Okay. Mohammed, in my opinion, is it possible to sit 3 exams in a 6-month period? Yes, I've seen students do it. In fact, just the last exam sitting, I know of students who've done PM, FR, and tax together, and also done a knowledge level paper. I know of a girl who was doing 4 papers together, and she pulled it off. But then she was very dedicated, and she worked in she had a full-time job as well. But then it's up to you. How much time can you commit to your papers? Okay, you've decided to take this on, do it well. Don't just do it for the sake of doing it. Amog, for section C, will you be able to mark some of our answers for these types of questions we attempt on our own? Or will we get a procedure to mark ourselves? So Amog, what happens is that later in the revision phase, I do some questions with you, but then for questions that I share with you, like there'll be a mock and stuff, I will share with you the answers. Okay, so you can compare your model answer with the answers that I mean, not your model answer, your answer with the model answer that I share with you and see. Okay, so you will get a procedure for that. Ruben, see, it's not like it's not possible, but unless you really, there is a reason for you to rush so much, I would not suggest that you rush so much. I know you can do 3 papers and pass, but again, are you going to be able to excel? I would suggest 2, but that's because as a student, I was a bit lazy to read. But if not everyone is like me, okay? So if you think you can pull that off, then why not? But if there is no rush, if there's nothing that is making you rush to complete it, then take your time. Take your time, do it well. Doing it well is what matters more than doing it. Okay? Yes, you're welcome. Any other questions? No other questions? We can call this an evening. And I hope to see you all in class. Thank you, Parth. Okay, I will be available. We have our group. For those of you who have not yet joined the group, you can join the group. Reach out to the admin at MAT. Rona, I can't wait for physical class as well. I am not really a fan of online, although I do it. But then, of course, physical is always much more fun. I love to have people physically in class. And in fact, if people don't attend, I usually keep shouting at the onliners. But it's unfortunate that this time I'm one of the onliners. But you can't blame me, okay? So it's just the situation. Rachel, thank you too. Johnson, thank you. So Rona, the physical classes, like I said, I'll be there from 27th Feb onwards up to March, end of March. Can you have the notes before the lecture? No, my dear, that's because you're going to understand nothing, especially in tax. And the notes, I usually upload the notes after we do the topic in class, because the calculations, I'm going to be writing the answers as I go through them in class with you. And that's when it will make much more sense to you. But if you want, the other thing I can suggest, basically, if you want to have a heads up on what it is like, if you want to do prior reading, I know some of you like that, then what you can do is that if you've paid for the course already at MAT, ask them to give you the BPP textbook, and you can start reading a bit from that. Otherwise, my notes, I'm going to upload once we finish a topic in class, because it will have all my workings of the questions I take you through in class, okay? Rita, when's the next class? Wednesday. Okay, Wednesday we're having online. In fact, today was supposed to be our class, but because we missed the webinar yesterday because of internet, otherwise the class was actually supposed to start from today, but Wednesday. Yes, Asana. Thanks. You answered that for me. Ruben, tax is level 2. Charles, thank you too. Have a good evening, Mohammed. Thank you. Celia, thank you. 21st Jan is the next class. Yes, 21st. Today is what? 19th, yeah? Yeah, tomorrow tomorrow is the FR, and then 21st is tax again. If you guys don't have the timetable, reach out to admin at MAT, okay? You must have a copy of the timetable, so you don't miss any class. Also, by the way, if you attend my class, I don't like people who miss class. I appreciate this online the fact that we have technology helping us, but then let's not use it to a disadvantage and miss class and just think that we will catch up with recordings. Yes, for those who don't know, the classes are going to be recorded and you can access the recordings, but that does not mean that you skip class and just look at the recording, okay? Because trust me, watching me on a recording for 3 hours is going to be very boring. You rather attend my class physically, if possible, okay? In class, do we follow the syllabus from the top or start somewhere in the middle? Hola, I'm not going to follow the exact order that I showed you. I'm going to do my own random things. Thank you, Ruben. Good evening, Innocent. Ah, Ruben, you attended the wrong class. Oh no. Ruben, but what papers do you want to start? You can do any paper in any order. So, but yeah, if you've not yet done level 1, you should definitely consider that. So people, I hope we're on the right level and right class. You see, different class links are going to be shared at different times. So be clear of what we are going to enroll for. You're welcome. Nice time, Charles. Okay. So thank you all. Have a good evening. And I hope to see you guys soon again, starting Wednesday, unless someone's taking FR. I'm going to be here doing the same thing tomorrow, like I did today, introducing you to FR. And Wednesday, we start our actual class, okay? Yeah, you're welcome, Ruben. All the very best. Level 1's quite a piece of cake. Go ace it, okay? You're welcome. Okay, good evening. Let me sign off now since we seem to be done with the questions. See you all when I see you.